grid as they waited for the red light to turn green. Hill making a good start, Schumacher too. Alesi up the inside of Coulthard as they go into the first corner at Saint-Devote, and that spelt problems immediately because Coulthard collided with the two Ferraris, Berger and Alesi. That caused a complete logjam, and not surprisingly the race had to be stopped. Coulthard finding Alesi coming up the bus lane on the inside of him and running out of space completely. The two Ferraris and the second Williams colliding, and all three of them ruled out of the race at the very first corner. Coulthard, the car being punted up in the air there, lucky to land back on his wheels. Alesi giving the same treatment for Berger, and the rest of the field couldn't resume the field. The race was restarted. Hill away quickly, Schumacher moving to block Coulthard this time, managed it into the first corner, Saint-Devote. Hill leading away up the hill, Schumacher in second place, Coulthard in third, followed by the two Ferraris, with Herbert in the second Benetton, ahead of Hakkinen in the first McLaren. Huge crowd gathered at Monte Carlo, most of them Ferrari supporters, having trekked across the border from Italy. But they saw a battle for the lead between the British driver Damon Hill in the Williams Renault and the German world champion Michael Schumacher in the Benetton Renault. Coulthard in third place, still running ahead of the two Ferraris. Alesi and Berger with Herbert ahead of Hakkinen.
The two Ferraris were still hard on Coulthard's heels at 1/5 distance, albeit some 13 seconds behind the leaders. Remember, all three drivers were in their spare cars. But soon gained a place when Coulthard slowed and retired. His gearbox jammed in second.
Including Rubens Barrichello and Martin Brundle. David Coulthard pulled into the pits, jammed in second gear and retired from third place. When Hill came into the pits for his first pit stop, it was left to Michael Schumacher to make the running, and he took full advantage. Hill delayed on the jacks for 8.5 seconds. Schumacher and Alesi both surged past him. Hill dropped to third place, just ahead of Herbert and Berger, with Mark Blundell moving up to 6th. Schumacher into the pits for his one stop. That gave the advantage to Alesi, who'd yet to come in for refuelling and new tyres.
Not to Hill, but to Alesi, who had just set fastest lap. The German had opted for just one stop.
I hope he can wheel it around there, yeah. It's a very physical circuit, of course, hard work. In the old days, of course, with regular stick shift, an awful lot of shifting, a tremendous amount of braking, obviously accelerating here, so the old driver's got plenty to occupy his mind over the...
Oh, Martin Brundle in the Ligier and Jean Alesi. You saw them running nose to tail. And it looks like it's all come to tears.
Oh, what tough luck on Jean Alesi.
Those two had a bit of an episode in the Spanish Grand Prix when Alesi accused Brundle of holding him up. Once again, Alesi found himself behind the Englishman in the Ligier.
Martin Brundle always was one of the most difficult men to overtake in Formula One. He came over to IMSA and it was the same thing there when he drove the Jags. Very disappointing for Jean Alesi. He was pretty certain for second spot on board now with Damon Hill as he goes past the scene of the wreckage. No doubt thinking, oh, pretty good. That's Alesi out the way.
Alesi climbs out after a word with the medical personnel.
That was a pretty hefty thwack on the Ferrari into the right-hand barrier there.
And Alesi being lifted out of the car in a fairly ham-handed way. This is down at the Tabac corner. Tabac named for the tobacco shop that still stands at that corner, by the way, behind the barriers.
Jean Alesi was not a happy man. And